Sebentar, soalnya ini agak error. Agak error. Oh ya udah, jangan aja. Ya benar. Iya. Bentar dulu. Oh, mungkin bisa Dwi langsung mulai. Sama-sama. Semutan dulu kan, baru dilancar. Wait a few minutes. Bentar ya, ini. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Konnichiwa, selamat sore.
Ya,
His
selamat sore.
Excellency, the Head of Master Program of English Language Education, Faculty of Language and Arts, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Dr. Sudarya Permana SPD MHU, Respectable Head of Indonesian Language Study Program, Kaoru Kochi Sensei, and Bapak David Mulyadi Sensei, Honorable One, Bapak Muhammad Ali Hamdi MPD, Lecturer of Japanese Language Education, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Honorable Ibu Rosnaini Sakata, Lecturer of Indonesian Language Education, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Honorable all lecturers of Master Program of English Language Education, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, and all participants today. I would like to start off expressing my heartfelt thanks to all of you to taking the time to join us today. Your participation is greatly appreciated, and we are also glad that you could be here with us today. Welcome to our International Community Service Program entitled Using Corpus Tools for Linguistic Research, held as part of International Community Service Program, organized by Master Program of English Language Education, Faculty of Language and Art, Universitas Negeri Jakarta, in collaboration with Kanda University International Studies, Japan. My name is Dwi Astuti, and I will be your moderator for today's program. It is an honor to have all of you join this meaningful community service program. To begin our session, let us hear a few welcoming remarks from our respected representative of Kanda University of International Studies, Japan. Please welcome Bapak David Mulyadi Sensei. The screen is yours.
Ya, terima kasih. Apakah suara saya bisa terdengar ya? Tidak, bisa ya? Ya, bisa. Ya, terima kasih. Ya, selamat sore. Terima kasih Bapak-bapak dan Ibu-ibu dosen UNJ. Terima kasih kalau Kanda University of International Studies ini mendapat kesempatan bisa mendapat kuliah dari dosen di UNJ. Sebenarnya di sini saya dan mahasiswa saya ada di dalam ruang kelas sekarang. Jadi saya bersama Gibran dan Andi ada di ruang kelas di kampus kuis. Saya mungkin sebentar saja ucapan sambutan dari saya. Itu saya sudah menyiapkan sambutan yang panjang-panjang juga. Jadi saya harap kegiatan ini bisa berlangsung terus ya setiap tahun kalau bisa. Dan lebih baik mungkin memang diadakan secara tatap muka. Tapi mungkin karena ada keterbatasan, mungkin diadakan secara daring kali ini. Tapi saya harap tahun depan dan mungkin tahun-tahun seterusnya bisa diadakan secara tatap muka seperti tahun yang lalu. Akan lebih baik. Nah, mungkin akan menarik mahasiswa untuk datang untuk mengikuti kuliah ini kalau secara tatap muka. Dan juga mengenai tema kuliah pada hari ini juga sangat bagus, ya, tentang korpus. Saya juga penelitian saya juga sedikit banyak berhubungan dengan korpus dan juga mungkin akan sangat berguna untuk mahasiswa saya, terutama Gibran yang nanti akan menulis skripsi, itu ada hubungannya dengan korpus juga. Dan semoga ya bisa menjadi bahan bagi Gibran, ya, supaya bisa menulis skripsi dengan baik dengan adanya kuliah ini. Dan mungkin tadi ada sedikit informasi dari mahasiswa saya, dari Gibran dan Andi, kalau bisa dalam bahasa Indonesia mungkin lebih baik, atau dalam bahasa Inggris dan bahasa Indonesia, jadi campur-campur juga tidak apa-apa mungkin. Kata mereka mungkin sudah terbiasa belajar bahasa Indonesia selama 4 tahun, jadi bahasa Indonesia mungkin lebih bagus daripada bahasa Inggris jadinya. Ya, terima kasih. Mungkin dari saya sekian dulu, ya. Terima kasih. Saya silakan kembali kepada moderator.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak David Mulyadi. Thank you very much for your warm, insightful remarks. Now let us hear the opening remarks from Bapak Kaprodi Magister Bahasa Inggris Universitas Negeri Jakarta, Bapak Dr. Sudarya Permana SPD MHU. Kepada Bapak Sudarya, waktu dan tempat kami persilakan.
Terima kasih, MC. Apakah suara saya jelas terdengar?
Iya, Pak, jelas terdengar.
Ya. Baik, ini saya jadi bingung. Pak David maunya bahasa Indonesia dan teman-teman. Bu Dika sementara dari bahasa Inggris. Ya saya menyiapkan pidato dari bahasa Inggris, tapi saya kira saya nggak bacakan lah. I think I had better make a speech in a normal way without text, ya. Digabung-gabung saja katanya tadi, ya. Baik, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, mungkin selamat sore, bapak-bapak dan ibu-ibu di Jepang, ya. Kita panjatkan puji syukur, ya, kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Kuasa. Ya, atas izinnya hari ini kita bisa berkumpul bersama, ya, di dalam Zoom untuk mengadakan sebuah program, ya, yang sudah direncanakan, yaitu yang bernama International Community Service. Ya. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Ibu dari Kanda University, ya. Saya baru kenal juga tadi namanya Pak David Mulyadi, ya, Pak. Namanya seperti orang Indonesia, Pak.
Iya, saya orang Indonesia, Pak, emang.
Oh, Bapak orang Indonesia.
Saya dari Malang.
Oh, I see. Sorry, Pak.
Iya,
Iya.
Jawa Timur, Malang. Iya.
Ya, dan teman-teman dari Kanda University, khususnya dari Indonesian Language Department, ya, Pak, ya. Oke. Juga kepada teman-teman dari UNJ, ya, especially Bu Dr. Risdika, ya, who has been inviting us to join this program. Thank you very much, Bu Dika. Saya juga melihat tadi di sini ada Bu Sri Sumarni, ya, dan juga Pak Hamdi. Nah, ini ya sepertinya yang sebagai itu jembatannya nih. Bapak Ibu sekalian, ya, Pertama-tama saya mengucapkan terima kasih banyak ya atas kerjasama pengabdian masyarakat ya yang digelar bersama antara Universitas Negeri Jakarta ya khususnya Master Program ya of English Education Pak dan Departemen Bahasa Indonesia ya from Kanda University of International Studies. I really appreciate this program. I think this will strengthen uh, the Indonesian and Japanese bilateral cooperation. Saya kira itu akan memperkuat kerjasama bilateral antara dua negara who has been taking place I think so far. Tadi topiknya menarik betul yang akan disampaikan oleh Budika dan tim ya. Apa tadi di situ? Apa Budika lupa?
Using corpus
Yeah,
tools for linguistic research.
corpus for linguistic research. Yeah. I think talking about corpus is this something common now, especially in a technological era. Yeah. Everything is technological and digital, I think. So we can't avoid using and let's say consulting it. Ya. Dan ini juga tentunya sudah masuk ke ranah-ranah kelas kita, baik mahasiswa ataupun dosen, terutama di dalam penelitian-penelitian yang menggunakan korpus sebagai salah satu basisnya, begitu. Saya belum mendalami secara banyak tentang korpus, Pak David dan juga teman-teman. Tapi saya yakin bahwa Budika dan teman-teman sudah mempersiapkan materi ini yang insya Allah nanti akan berguna, bermanfaat buat teman-teman dari Kanda, begitu. Ya, I hope that this will be useful for Kanda students, especially in conducting research using corpus as the basis. Saya berharap bahwa seperti Pak David katakan tadi, kegiatan ini tidak hanya berhenti di sini, ya akan berlangsung ke depannya dengan lebih serius lagi. Mungkin kita bisa lakukan kerjasama ini. Dan tentu saja Pak David, karena ini adalah pertama kali, ya Budika ya, kemungkinan pastinya ada kekurangan-kekurangan dari pelaksanaan kegiatan ini, kami mohon dimaklum gitu. Tapi insya Allah Budika dan teman-teman, ya, they will share their knowledge and experiences, ya, in using corpus in linguistic research. Gitu. Saya kira itu yang ingin saya sampaikan. Sekali lagi, mudah-mudahan apa yang kita lakukan ini merupakan sebuah jembatan yang bagus begitu ya untuk kedepannya ya memperluas our collaboration and cooperation between let's say here the Japanese institutions and the Indonesian institution, and I think this is a good thing to hold such a program for our two countries building, right? Ya. Saya kira itu ya, dan kepada mahasiswa walaupun mungkin tidak ada di Zoom langsung ya, tapi tadi dikatakan oleh Pak David bahwa ada di kelas katanya. Dan nanti silakan Budika diatur saja because they can use two languages, Indonesian and English. I think we must also be wise when to use English and when to use Indonesian. Selamat ya menjalankan kegiatan ini. And to end my remarks, I hear formally, I think, open this program. Have a nice workshop with Ibu Dika and team, Pak David and friends, and thank you very much. That's all, Bu Dewi. I give it back to you.
Ya, terima kasih atas sambutannya Bapak Dr. Sudarya Permana MPD M. Hum, sorry, SPD M. Hum. Now, before we continue the main program, I kindly remind you to fill out the attendance link shared in the Zoom chat. Thank you very much. Ya, sambil saya menyapa Ibu Dr. Sri Sumarni MPD. Terima kasih atas kehadirannya, Ibu. Okay, next. Before we start the main session, let's have a group photo first. Yeah, please open your camera. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Give your smile, please. Once more. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, next, without any further ado, let's continue our main program. Well, let me briefly introduce the main speaker, sorry, our speakers. Ibu Dr. Lee Risdika Mardiana. This program is part of collaborative academic activity that aims to bridge knowledge and language studies between students of Universitas Negeri Jakarta and Kanda University of International Studies, Japan. And today we will focus on exploring corpus tools and how they are applied in linguistic research, especially in the context of language studies itself. Baik, untuk pembicara kita kali ini adalah Dr. Lee Risdika Mardiana, MPD dari Universitas Negeri Jakarta. Kepada beliau, waktu dan tempat kami, mohon maaf, saya perkenalkan dulu. She is an English lecturer who is an expert in corpus linguistic, second language acquisition, translation, and applied linguistic. Ibu Dr. Lee Risdika Mardiana, waktu dan tempat kami persilakan.
Okay, thank you for having me, moderator. Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu atas kesempatannya. Selamat sore semuanya. Izinkan saya untuk sharing. Ya, kita hari ini agak mungkin santai aja ya Pak David dan teman-teman. Jadi biar nggak terlalu kaku ya. Adapun materi yang sudah saya siapkan, mungkin boleh panitia minta tolong di-share PPT-nya. Ya, saya akan sampaikan dalam dua bahasa. Saya coba menggunakan bahasa Inggris dan bahasa Indonesia. Saya mix. Okay. So, yeah. First of all, I would like to thank Bapak David Mulyadi, Sensei, for the opportunity given to me to deliver my materials today, and all of the students of Kanda University of International Studies, Japan. Thank you for the opportunity given to me. So today, I would like to introduce my teams. Dr. Bambang Nur Alam Syah Lubis, is he here? And then Bapak Muhammad Ali Hamdi, ada ya Pak Hamdi. Kemudian Ibu Dr. Sri Sumarni MPD, sudah hadir beliau di sini. Ya, terima kasih atas waktunya Ibu. Kemudian ada Profesor Dr. Muklas Suseno, kebetulan beliau belum sempat hadir, mungkin akan bergabung sebentar lagi. Ya. Oke, jadi hari ini kita akan membahas tentang penggunaan corpus tools dalam penelitian linguistik. So, next please. Yeah, so the objectives of this lecture is first understand what corpus and corpora are and their role in linguistics research. Second, use key corpus tools to analyze linguistic data. And the third, apply corpus techniques in basic linguistics research. Jadi saya mencoba untuk nanti menjelaskan bagaimana pengaplikasian teknik-teknik korpus ini dalam penelitian yang basic untuk linguistik. Next, please. Yeah. Okay, before we go to the definition of corpus, I would like to know your background knowledge about what corpus is. So, have you ever heard the word corpus? Karena tadi Pak David sudah menyebutkan mereka mahasiswa sudah belajar ini ya Pak. Corpus berarti sudah bukan barang baru buat mahasiswa.
Ya, saya sudah sampaikan sedikit tentang corpus.
Ya, oke, baik. Terima kasih Pak David. Saya lanjutkan kembali. So, corpus is a large structured set of texts stored digitally used for linguistic analysis based on real language use. So the first keyword here is large. So it means corpus is a big data. The second keyword here is structured set of texts. So text means that this can be written text, yeah, for example, books, articles, websites, essays, and also spoken text. For example, transcript of conversations, interviews, speeches, and structured set means that the text in a corpus are usually digitized or digitized here means stored electronically and labeled. Labeled here, the words may be marked with grammar information like noun, verb, adverb, pronoun, yeah, and etc. And then it is organized by category, for example, by topic, by date, by author, gender, region, etc. And it is also searchable. So it means that you can use software to search patterns, word frequency, locations, and etc. The third keyword here is stored digitally. So it means the texts in the corpus are safe and organized using computers, not on paper or in printed books, using electronic format, where the texts are saved as files on a computer or online or common formats. For example, in TXT file, in XML file or CSV. And then corpus also computer readable, which is text can be read, searched, and analyzed by software. So you can count word frequency, find patterns, or check grammar structures using digital tools. You can access via corpus tools, for example, using COCA, stands for Corpus of Contemporary American English, or BNC, or Sketch Engine. So these platforms allow you to search words, see how they are used, or compare across genres. The last keyword is real language use. So it means that the text in the corpus come from authentic everyday communication, not from made up or artificial examples. So it refers to the actual way people speak or write in real situations, such as newspapers and magazines, conversations or academic articles, social media posts, novels, blogs, websites, TV shows, or interviews. So linguistic analysis here, it means that by analyzing the data from a corpus, the researchers can identify patterns and trends in language use, such as the frequency of specific words, common phrases, and grammatical structures. So this knowledge aids in understanding how language evolves and is applied in everyday communication. Okay, next please. Okay, by showing this slide, I hope you can get clear understanding of what corpus is. So here we can see a picture of a marine biology who take a sample from the ocean. So imagine that you, as a marine biologist, have many samples in the ocean, which is similar to corpus. So you can select which sample that you need to from the ocean. In the next picture, we can see there are some linguists try to take language samples from book, which is similar to corpus. So this analogy highlights the scientific approach taken in both fields, focusing on observation and analysis. So the simple meaning of corpus is an organized collection of language samples. Next, please. Okay, so you can think of a corpus as a digital library of language. By using computer tools, you can search, you can count, and study how language is used. With a corpus, you can find out how often a word or phrase appears, compare language in different types of text, like newspaper versus social media, and see patterns and changes in language over time. So basically, it's like having a smart library that helps you understand how people really use words and grammar. Next, please. Okay, so this is an image that shows a corpus, yeah, in the. So this is a corpus if you use offline corpora tools like Ankong or ADTAT. Yeah, that stands for Adelaide Text Analysis Tools. So basically, your texts are in the form of TXT files and stored in different folders. So you have to install Ankong or ADTAT on your laptop and use it to analyze your text to see word pattern or collocation. However, you cannot see data visualization in graphs or timeline or trend plots. Yeah, so that's the difference between the offline corpus with the online corpus. Okay, next please. Yeah, what is corpora? Corpora here can be compiled from a variety of mediums, including literature, newspaper, social media, and spoken conversations, allowing linguists to study language usage in different contexts. So these tools allow researchers to perform a range of analysis from basic frequency counts to complex statistical evaluations. Some software even facilitates the visualization of data, making it easier to identify patterns and trends. So this is basically as the tool that you can use to access the corpus, the data, yeah, to find what you want to do. For example, you want to count the words appear in the corpus, or you want to search, or you want to see the patterns of words in the corpus, you can use corpora. Okay, so corpora are useful for studying real examples of language. Yeah, we can also use offline corpora by using software. By using corpora, we can count how often words appear, spot patterns in how words are used, see results in charts or graphs, add notes or labels to text to understand meaning and grammar better. So these tools help us learn more about how language works in real life. Next. Okay, so here are the links that you can access to the online corpus and offline corpus. For COCA and BNC, they are online corpus. You can access by click on the link. And for Ankong, you can go to this link to download, and install the program on your laptop. Okay, next, please. Okay, so this time I use COCA to show you what we can do using online corpus and corpora. First, we can see word frequency that functions to count how often a word appears in the corpus. So the purpose of analyzing word frequency is to show which words are common in real world English. For example, the frequency of the word happy here is 158,438. Okay, but if you want to know, I already but I didn't put here. So I also put the word joyful, and then I can see the result. The word frequency of joyful is 2,922. So it means, it shows that the use of the word happy is more common in real world English than the use of the word joyful. Okay, next, please. Okay, so there are 3 examples of research that analyze word frequency in the last 5 years that I have collected so far. The first study focuses on the word frequency analysis in Kazakh language in 2025. This study analyzed the most frequently used parts of speech and grammatical forms in the national corpus of the Kazakh language, which contains 13 million words. So it identified high-frequency functional words such as conjunctions, demonstrative pronouns, and modal verbs, highlighting their key stylistic and functional roles in journalistic texts. The research also confirmed that Kazakh word frequency patterns align with global linguistic trends, like Zipf's law, while reflecting unique features of its agglutinative structure. This corpus-based frequency analysis provides important insights into Kazakh language usage and grammar distribution. The second study focused on the word frequency effect on second language lexical acquisition in 2021. This corpus study investigated how word frequency influences second language learners' vocabulary acquisition. By comparing word frequency data from online corpora with actual learner usage, the study found that higher frequency words are generally easier for L2 learners to understand and acquire. However, word frequency alone is not the sole predictor of acquisition. Other factors such as context and perceptual characteristics also play roles. So this research underscores the importance of frequency information in designing effective language teaching materials and curricula. The third study focused on corpus-based prediction of word knowledge in ESL learners in 2023. In this study, about 520 ESL students in China were tested on their knowledge of 932 content words selected based on corpus frequency indices. Statistical analysis showed significant correlation between corpus-based word frequency rankings from lists like Nation, BNC, or COCA, and the likelihood of words being known by learners. So the research demonstrated that corpus frequency data can effectively predict vocabulary knowledge levels among ESL students, which has practical implication for vocabulary teaching and assessment. The last study focused on word frequency and keyword statistics in corpus linguistic in 2009. This is quite old, yeah. Though slightly older, this paper remains relevant for understanding how frequency-sorted word lists and keyword statistics are used in corpus linguistics to analyze text and language change over time. It discusses how spelling variation in historical corpora affects frequency-based keyword analysis and emphasizes the importance of standardized corpora for robust frequency studies. Next, please. So here are the articles of the studies that I have explained. Next, please. Yeah. Okay, what can we analyze from COCA other than the word frequency is the second point. The second point is collocation or word patterns that functions to identify common word combinations. The purpose of analyzing word patterns is to help identify phrases like happy relaxation or happy hour. So if we see in the image here, the word happy is followed by the word hour or Monday, or relaxation, or dog, or happy to talk, or happy to be, yeah, or happy doing, become happy hour, happy Monday, happy relaxation, happy dog, happy to talk to you, happy to be in such a tribe, happy doing almost anything. So by analyzing collocation, you know the combination of the word happy. Okay, next, please. So there are 4 examples of research that analyze collocation or word patterns in the last 5 years that I have found. The first study focused on collocation networks of selected words in academic writing in 2022. This study examined the collocation networks of 3 key academic words research study and paper in abstracts from 2 international academic journals. So using the GrabCall tool in Langbox software, the research revealed how these words share collocational associations and whether they are used interchangeably. Findings showed that research and study have many shared collocations, while paper has fewer. This corpus-based approach highlights the importance of collocations in understanding semantic relations and has practical implications for teaching academic writing. The second study focus on effects of corpus use on L2 collocation learning in 2022. This experimental study investigated how using corpora versus dictionaries affects second language learners' acquisition of verb-noun collocations. So 55 intermediate EFL learners in Japan look up collocations using either corpus tools or dictionaries and then produce written text. The results showed that corpus users produce significantly more appropriate collocations than dictionary users, likely because corpora provide richer contextual examples and frequency information. This research supports the use of corpus-based data-driven learning for effective collocation acquisition. The third study focused on corpus linguistic approach to collocation patterns using NCONG in 2023. A study employing NCONG software systematically identified collocation patterns and their frequencies in a specific corpus. So this approach allowed the researchers to uncover frequent word combinations and typical collocational behavior within the target text, demonstrating how corpus tools facilitate objective and replicable analysis of word patterns. The fourth study focused on AI and corpus linguistics, collocation and keyword frequency analysis in 2025. This recent study explored how artificial intelligence is transforming corpus linguistics by analyzing collocation and keyword frequencies in a dual corpus of scholarly papers and AI-related media texts. The quantitative corpus analysis revealed thematic patterns in how AI is discussed across academic and public discourse, showing the evolving role of collocation analysis in understanding language use in emerging technological contexts. Next, please. So here are the articles of studies that I have mentioned in the previous slide. Next, please. Yeah, the third thing that is provided by Quokka is data visualization. The function of data visualization is to show language trends over time or across genres. The purpose of data visualization is to track changes in usage over time or across genres. In the first column, you can see that there are FREQ words per mil and see all subsections at once. So freq means the raw number or frequency, the raw number of times the word or phrase appears in that section of the corpus. This means the word happy appears 23,153 times in the block section. Words means the total number of words in that section of the corpus measured in millions. So 128.6 means that the block section contains 128.6 million words in total. Knowing the size of the section helps you understand how large the data sample is and interpret the frequency of a word fairly. Per mil means how often the word appears per 1 million words, used to normalize across sections of different sizes. So why it is useful? Because a word might appear 10,000 times in the large section and 3,000 in a smaller one, but per mil shows how common it is relative to the size of the section. In this case, on average, happy appears about 180.02 times per million words in blocks. The last feature is see all subsection at once. So if you click the bar, you will get more data shown on the next slide. Next. Okay, I think not this slide. I'm sorry. I will send you the slide that I mean. Yeah. Okay. This one. Yeah, okay, thank you. So the second table allows you to view how a word or phrase is used across the smaller subcategories within each main section of the corpus, all in one table. So ACAD here refers to academic, means text from academic journals or research papers. ARG refers to argumentative, means text that express opinions or build arguments. For example, essays, opinion pieces. FIC refers to fiction, means novels, short stories, or other creative literature. INFO refers to informative, means expository or explanatory text, for example, encyclopedia entries, factual articles. And then INSTR refers to instructional, means how-to guides, manuals, instructional texts. And then legal refers to legal documents, court decisions, contracts. News refers to straightforward news reports, excluding opinion or editorial. And then PERS refers to personal writing, for example, diaries, blogs, letters. REVW refers to reviews of books, movies, products, etc. MISC, miscellaneous, refers to other types that don't fall neatly into one category. For example, speeches, announcements. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So there are 4 examples of studies that use there are 4 examples of studies that use data visualization of corpora in the last 5 years. The first study done by Moore and Watam. Um, I'm sorry, we're still waiting for the slide to show. Yeah, okay, thank you. So the first study done by Moore et al. In 2021 focused on interactive multidimensional visualizations. The study described case studies of multiple types of keyword clouds, explorer tools for collocation networks, and compare network and language distance visualization for online social networks. So the corpus tools used are various large corpora, W-Matrix software, and custom tools. It introduced dynamic interactive visualization and interactive visualization techniques to support the iterative and exploratory investigations typical of the corpus linguistic methodology. The second study done by Isaacs, Oldblum, and Leon Arauz, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think, I'm sorry if there is a mistake in the pronunciation. Focus on enhancing quantitative data visualization in corpus linguistics by developing a customizable tool that integrates directly with corpus management systems. It aims to address challenges in creating effective and flexible visualization methods for exploring large language data sets. So the study introduces a web-based application template called Quartz, written in Python. Quartz here is designed to support interactive and advanced visualization of linguistic data, such as usage patterns of concepts, by communicating directly with the Sketch Engine Corpus platform through its API, Application Programming Interface. The emphasis is on exploratory and pattern-based visualization. The Humanitarian Encyclopedia Corpus, which contains texts related to humanitarian discourse, was used to test and demonstrate the tool. The findings showed that Quartz enables direct interaction with corpus data, allowing for more efficient and customized visualization solutions. A case study demonstrated how the application can uncover usage patterns of key terms in specialized domains, for example, humanitarian language. The study also identifies ongoing challenges in corpus visualization, including data interoperability and the need for effective tools to support data exploration. Next, please. Yeah, thank you. So the third study focused on visualizing corpus data for public engagement. The main visualization approach in the study is socio-culturally informed corpus visualizations. The corpus used in this study is corpus-based discourse analysis on migrant press portrayal. These types are often used in public-facing corpus projects and align with the study's goal of communicating meaningful patterns to non-academic audiences. Rather than introducing a new tool or a single visualization method, the study analyzes visualization practices in two real-world corpus projects, which is university researchers and non-academic partners. The study also highlights the importance of aligning visualization with project goals, audience values, and cross-sector communication needs. The last study demonstrates that network-based visualization tools like Cytoscape can significantly enhance both exploratory and explanatory analysis in corpus linguistics, especially when dealing with large, complex, and relational data sets. These methods support both exploratory data analysis and effective communication of linguistic insights. Visualizations improve not only understanding but also memory retention of results from audiences beyond academia. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah. Thank you. So the last thing that is provided by COCA is annotation or tagging. The function of annotation is to see how words function grammatically or semantically. The purpose of annotation is to show how words function. The purpose of annotation is to show part of speech text for deeper grammar analysis. In the image, we can see that the word happy is followed by a preposition about, a noun any, and a conjunction and. Before the word happy, there is to be, are, was, is, be, possessive pronoun our, and adverb very, so, up. So by analyzing the annotation, we can see the word order of sentences containing the word happy in the context of news, television, blog, web, movie, magazine, fiction, and spoken speech. Next, please. Okay, there are 4 examples of studies that use annotation of corpora in the last 5 years that I have collected. The first study focused on using annotated corpora to develop and evaluate linguistic theories. This research advocates integrating annotated corpora into theoretical linguistics and psychological linguistics. It shows how richly annotated corpora complement native speaker intuitions and experimental methods by providing large samples of naturalistic data for hypothesis testing. The paper also reviews best practices for moving from corpus annotation to linguistic theory formation. The significance of this study is it highlights annotated corpora as powerful empirical tools for advancing Linguistic Theory Beyond Computational Modeling. This is from the study conducted by Marnev and Potts in 2023. And then the second study focused on multi-layer corpus annotation and validation. A project constructed a multi-layer annotated corpus with 7 linguistic annotation layers simultaneously. For example, POS tagging, syntactic parsing, semantic roles. The study developed detailed annotation guidelines and employed multiple annotator groups to ensure consistency and completeness. A validation procedure was designed to assess annotation quality across large-scale corpora. The significance is this work advances the creation of comprehensive, high-quality annotated corpora that support diverse linguistic analysis and NLP applications. This is taken from the study conducted by Noh et al. In 2020. The third study focused on semi-automatic methods for corpus annotation using machine learning. This study explores semi-automatic annotation methods that leverage machine learning to reduce manual effort. It focuses on automating the annotation of linguistic data with syntactic and semantic labels, improving efficiency while maintaining annotation quality. The significance is it points towards scalable corpus annotation workflows that integrate human and machine collaboration, essential for large modern corpora. This is taken from a study conducted by Fontaine et al. In 2022. The last study focuses on Speak and Improve Corpus Annotated L2 English Speech in 2025. Contains over 315 hours of L2 English learner speech annotated with detailed linguistic information. The corpus supports research on second language acquisition and automated assessment of spoken English proficiency. The significance is it exemplifies how richly annotated spoken corpora can inform language learning research and technology development. Okay, next please. Yeah, here are the articles of studies that I have explained in the previous slide. Next please. Okay. So this is an activity that I would like to do with you. It is called as word frequency hunt. So basically, you need to access to the corpora COCA. Have you ever used corpora COCA?
Belum pernah. Belum pernah ya. Tapi bisa
Have
dicoba.
you
Sayang.
ever
Belum
used
pernah.
before?
Belum pernah, Bu. Belum
Sudah
pernah.
pernah coba?
Belum pernah.
Oh,
Ya,
belum pernah. Oke. Kalau belum pernah, mungkin ada beberapa step yang harus dilalui dulu ya, karena ini memang harus daftar dulu.
Oh, daftar. Ya.
Tetapi daftarnya simple, sederhana saja. Sebentar.
Dipraktekkan aja, Bu Dika.
Kenapa?
Dipraktekkan
Ya,
aja.
mungkin saya. Oke, baik. Mungkin saya
Apa-apa.
praktekkan ya.
Biar ada contoh.
Oh ya, yang udah download siapa? Zahra bisa? Oke. Zahra aja. Oke, sebentar. Kita mulai dari mendaftar mungkin ya, Bapak dan Ibu. Sebentar, saya share. Karena saya sudah mendaftar, jadi saya minta tolong ke mahasiswa saya yang belum mendaftar untuk share screen. Ella bisa? Oke. Oke, untuk pertama mungkin Bapak dan Ibu bisa menuliskan di sini ya kolom search-nya English corpora.org garis miring koka garis miring.
Ini tujuannya mencari apa, Bu Dika?
Mencari word frequency, Pak.
Oh, word frequency.
Iya.
Hmm.
Oke, linknya sudah di-share di kolom chat. Nanti bisa Bapak dan Ibu langsung klik di situ. Ya, apakah sudah berhasil ke halaman ini?
Ya, sudah.
Ya sudah, Bu Desi juga sudah.
Sudah ya.
Hmm.
Kemudian, ya, klik login.
Oke.
Kemudian register. Sampai nanti pada halaman ini.
Loginnya yang mana, Bu?
Tadi Pak, sebentar. Ella, balik lagi. Di sebelah kanan Pak, ada
Sebelah kanan?
tulisan login. Ya, di simbol kuning,
Oh,
orang
simbol
warna
kuning ya?
kuning itu juga
Ya,
bisa, ya.
simbol kuning ya.
Ya.
Siap, ya. Terus,
Kemudian register.
Bu Dika,
Iya Pak.
saya izin seperti saya sampaikan tadi, saya ternyata ada wawancara dari sana itu ya.
Oh iya, baik
Iya,
Pak.
saya up dulu ya.
Terima kasih banyak Pak Darya
Iya,
sudah
izin Bapak Ibu, Pak
bergabung.
David dan teman-teman.
Iya, Pak.
Silakan
Terima
dilanjut
kasih.
dulu. Iya.
Ya, terima kasih.
Oh iya, oke Pak David dan teman-teman, apakah sudah bisa register? Register, diklik di situ, kemudian akan muncul halaman ini. Kemudian silakan diisi nama, email, passwordnya silakan diisi, Bapak Ibu yang menentukan. Kemudian country-nya silakan dipilih. Apakah sudah sampai pada halaman ini Bapak dan Ibu, teman-teman? Sudah? Tidak ada masalah ya?
Iya, sudah tidak ada masalah.
Oke, baik. Kemudian diklik other, kemudian disubmit. Sudah? Ya, kalau sudah nanti akan terlihat seperti ini. Dan silakan diklik Corpus of Contemporary American English, COCA. Itu sudah menyala boxnya, ya. Bapak dan Ibu dan teman-teman, apakah sudah sampai di sini? Hmm,
Iya, sudah.
sudah. Oke. Nah, silakan Bapak dan Ibu tentukan kata apa yang mau dimasukkan di situ. bebas. Oke, teacher ya. Bisa diklik find matching-nya. Ini udah login belum? Oh, belum login. Oke, search lagi. Sudah? Oke, mungkin bisa balik lagi. Iya. Apakah sudah berhasil teman-teman, Bapak dan Ibu, sampai pada halaman ini? Sudah berhasil? Kata apa yang dimasukkan?
Nanti wait
Nanti bisa diklik katanya, misalnya kalau teacher di sini diklik akan keluar. Berarti di sini frekuensinya untuk teacher 106.000 ya. 106.000 berapa tuh tadi? Nggak apa-apa, udah. Oke. Apakah sudah sampai pada halaman ini, teman-teman?
Iya, sudah. Iya, sudah.
Sudah. Oke. Baik, berarti tidak ada masalah ya. Sampai di sini sudah bisa menggunakan Koka untuk melihat word frequency, kemudian konteksnya. Untuk konteks di sini terlihat blok semua sumbernya dari tahun 2012 semua. Nanti bisa dipindahkan ke page-page atau halaman-halaman berikutnya untuk mencari konteks-konteks lainnya. Oke. Selanjutnya, ya mungkin bisa sharing teman-teman mencari kata apa yang sudah tadi dilakukan. Pak David mungkin, Pak David mencari kata apa, Pak?
Ya. Tadi saya cari kata perform dalam bahasa Inggris, perform.
Oh, oke, baik. Mungkin bisa ditampilkan, Pak?
Tampilkan ya. Saya bisa
Ya.
ini ya, share screen di sini. Boleh. Oh ya.
Bisa, bisa.
Yang ini ya. Iya, apakah sudah terlihat? Ada ya?
Iya,
Bisa.
sudah, Pak. Perform, oke, di situ berarti
Ya,
frekuensinya
ini ya.
38.000 ya, iya. Sudah
Iya.
berhasil. Kemudian, oke, nanti bisa diklik, Pak, untuk misalnya bloknya.
Oh, yang ini ya, misalnya.
Iya. Nah, di
Hmm.
sini akan terlihat
Ya.
satu paragraf. Dan dia berada di mana kata itu bisa terlihat semua. Oke, baik. Terima kasih, Pak David.
Ya, terima kasih.
Eh, Bagaimana dengan teman-teman? Gibran
Gibran? Ya, bisa.
bisa di-share screen-nya? Ya, kata apa yang dicari, yang dimasukkan? Oke, kata korpus. Ya, ada berapa tadi frekuensinya? Frekuensi diklik bisa frekuensi. Nah, oke. Ada 4100 ya di dalam tadi blok ya. Oke, thank you Gibran. Next, mungkin Andi bisa sharing hasilnya. Oke, ini kata screen ya, Andi. So, how many? The word frequency. Bisa diklik frekuensi di situ. Oke, 67,687. Sorry, 787. Yeah, thank you, Andi, for sharing your screen. Oke, baik. Ya, berarti sudah tidak ada masalah ya. Sudah mencoba Koka dan sejauh ini alhamdulillah bisa. Kemudian saya lanjutkan kembali. Silakan Ella untuk share screen. Oke, langsung aja Ella ke ini bagian monitoring and evaluation. Lanjut. Yeah, okay. So thank you for your attention. I would like to invite you to fill in the survey. This is for the monitoring and evaluation of International Community Program, Service Program. Please kindly scan the following barcode to answer some questions. Thank you. I will give the time to moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ristika Mardiana, MPD, for such an engaging and meaningful knowledge. Thank you very much too for your attention and participation. We have now reached to the end of the material actually. Before we go on to the Q&A session, we still have 2 minutes more. But we kindly ask you to fill out a short feedback and reflection form. The link has already said in the slide. Please let us know your thought about the program and what you have done today. Your feedback is very valuable for us. Now, we would like to open the floor for question and answer session. This is your chance to ask anything you want to know more about or share your thought and opinion with us. If you have any question, please type it in the chat or raise your hand using the feature provided so I can invite you to deliver the question. We open in Bahasa Indonesia or in English, it's okay, but we doesn't open in Japanese, right? Because we don't understand about Japanese, sorry. Okay, let's begin. We are waiting for your question, please. Okay, please. Adakah pertanyaan?
Gibran dan Andi sekarang sedang mengisi angket ini. Mungkin sedang sibuk mengisi angket masih.
Mas Gibran.
Okay.
What is Mas Gibran in bahasa Jepang, Pak David.
Ya, ya Mas Gibran dan Mas Andinya sedang mengisi angket
It's okay.
yang mengisi ini ya,
Okay.
evaluasi.
Maybe another. Do you have any question for our students? In chat, please. Okay.
Oke, kalau tidak ada saya bertanya mungkin satu
Oh, it's okay.
pertanyaan.
Pak David,
Ya,
monggo silakan.
iya, terima kasih. Ya, saya mau bertanya tentang ini software tadi Bu Ristika menyampaikan ada software untuk visualisasi data ya Bu ya. Apakah ada rekomendasi software apa yang sering digunakan oleh Ibu Ristika untuk keperluan visualisasi data ini? Mungkin software yang gampang digunakan untuk pemula mungkin, atau software yang tidak berbayar, yang gratis. Kalau ada rekomendasi, tolong diberitahu ya. Terima kasih.
Ya, baik. Terima kasih atas pertanyaannya, Pak David. Eh, tetapi sayang sekali kalau offline corpus atau corpora itu kita tidak bisa mendapatkan data visualization ya. Eh, Kelebihannya adalah kita bisa memilih teks yang akan kita masukkan ke dalam korpus. Itu kelebihannya. Artinya kalau di online kita hanya bisa memilih apa yang sudah tersedia, tetapi kalau offline kita menggunakan software ini, kita yang memilih sumber datanya. Misalnya kita ingin hanya memasukkan bidang pertanian, maka kita memilih teks-teks di bidang pertanian dan sumbernya misalnya hanya artikel di jurnal Scopus, maka hanya itu saja yang dimasukkan ke dalam korpus kita. Nah, tentunya ini caranya ya pertama kita harus menyiapkan softwarenya. Saya rekomendasikan menggunakan ETAT. ETAT itu Adelaide Text Analysis Tool. Saya tuliskan di kolom chat. Nah, ETAT ini softwarenya bisa didapatkan di link yang disediakan oleh Adelaide University. Saya share dulu linknya di kolom chat. Ya, dulu saya pernah menggunakan software ini. Jadi saya gunakan waktu penelitian tesis saya di S2 ya. Jadi saya menggunakan software ini dengan memberikan pelatihan ke mahasiswa yang tidak mempunyai background bahasa Inggris gitu ya. Jadi mahasiswa ini mahasiswa biologi, tetapi dia ingin menulis academic writing ya, menulis untuk keperluan publikasi artikelnya di jurnal Scopus, International Scopus. Eh, tetapi bahasa Inggris mereka masih belum cukup bagus untuk academic writing. Jadi saya berikan training kepada mereka untuk bisa belajar. eh, Tentunya belajarnya ini mereka sendiri yang memilih artikel-artikel yang menjadi rujukan nantinya mereka menulis artikel mereka sendiri. Jadi di situ karena menggunakan rujukan artikel yang akan mereka tulis, jadi lebih fokus. Terminologinya juga sudah tidak perlu di apa ya, eh, ya mereka pakai yang ada di korpus itu karena termnya itu ya memang sudah bidangnya mereka gitu. Jadi tidak perlu mencari lagi apakah term ini sesuai atau tidak di bidang saya gitu ya. Kalau misalnya kita ngambil di online korpus, itu kita masih harus menyesuaikan terminologinya apakah sesuai di bidang kita atau enggak gitu ya. Tapi
Ya,
kalau ini karena dia disiplin spesifik korpus, saya menyebutnya disiplin spesifik korpus. Jadi korpus yang benar-benar spesifik untuk disiplin ilmu kita gitu. Jadi lebih tepat sasaran menurut saya sih seperti itu menggunakan etat ini.
Ya, terima kasih
Mungkin
banyak,
itu
Bu.
Pak David.
Ya, terima
Ya,
kasih banyak.
sama-sama Pak David.
Baik, itu Bapak David. Semoga
Ya,
bisa menjawab pertanyaan Bapak.
ya, terima kasih. Ini dari mahasiswa tidak ada pertanyaan dan juga waktu sudah menunjukkan pukul 6 di sini, Bu.
Oh iya, baik.
Ya,
Terima kasih. Waktunya habis ya Pak David. Terima kasih banyak.
iya, maaf ya.
Mungkin sampai di sini materi dari saya. Semoga teman-teman semua sudah mengisi survei ya.
Masih sedang diisi oleh mahasiswa saya, Bu, surveinya.
Oh gitu, baik-baik. Terima kasih Pak. Saya kembalikan ke moderator.
Baik, terima kasih. Sambil kami menunggu ya Bapak. Kami sangat terbuka untuk menjawab pertanyaan Bapak, Ibu, dan teman-teman semua di lain kesempatan, walaupun di luar kegiatan ini. Nanti bisa hubungi Ibu Dika langsung ya. Terima kasih banyak. Okay, alright. That's the end of our meeting today. Once again, on behalf of Universitas Negeri Jakarta, we would like to thank our speaker and all participants from Kanda University of International Studies and Universitas Negeri Jakarta for joining this meaningful program. We hope today's session gives us new insight on our corpus tools in linguistic research and encourage further academic collaboration between our institutions. Thank you, everyone. Let's wrap up our program. We hope to see you again in the future program. Stay healthy and stay inspired. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou
Terima
gozaimasu.
kasih.
Sambil kami menunggu feedbacknya ya Bapak Ibu. Kami
Ya.
masih
Ya.
open the Zoom-nya. Ibu Sri, terima kasih banyak Ibu.
Sama-sama. Pak
Sudah
David,
bergabung.
terima kasih
Ya,
sudah
terima kasih,
bersama.
Bu.
Saya salah satu anggota tim pengabdian masyarakat ini. Jadi
Ya.
Ibu Dika yang mengetuai. Jadi saya ikut mensupport program ini. Terima kasih. Salam untuk mahasiswa Pak David, Mas
Ya.
Gibran sama satu lagi. I don't remember the name. Baik, terima kasih Pak Hamdi juga. Barangkali Pak Hamdi jarang bertemu saya di kampus ya. So, is Hiroki a student or the lecturer there also, Pak David?
Mahasiswa saya, Bu.
Oke,
Nama
baik ya.
Indonesianya
So,
Andi.
iya,
Hiroki.
Gibran and Andi. Nice to see you all. Baik, terima kasih Bu Dwi sudah memberikan kesempatan. Baik.
Terima kasih Bu Sri.
Ya, terima kasih Bu Dika juga.
Terima kasih, Mem.
Ya,
Ya, thank you Pak David.
Terima kasih.
Sampai
Ya.
ketemu kembali.
Ya, sampai ketemu minggu depan ya, Bu ya. Minggu depan lagi.
Iya betul Pak.
Terima
Sampai
kasih.
ketemu minggu depan. Terima kasih.
Ya.
Sampai tanggal 13 ya Pak David.
Oh iya, ya. Minggu depan hari Jumat ya. Ya.
Hari
Sampai jumpa
Jumat ya.
lagi. Ya, sampai jumpa lagi.
Karena memang kebetulan kalau tanggal 6 hari Jumat tanggal 6 Lebaran Haji.
Oh iya, ya kebetulan ya.
Hari Raya
Saya
Idul
juga
Adha.
nggak bisa tanggal segitu ya,
Ya,
kebetulan.
jadi pas banget. Pas sekali pas di jam yang available gitu. Ya. Baik,
Iya.
terima kasih banyak kepada David. Terima kasih juga Daishiro-san. Nanka Mostri.